Chat, here we go once again with Firstkiller versus Ayyjayy. We had this earlier in the swamp in the Swiss stage as these two guys went 2-0 and a chance to play each other to qualify. Firstkiller won there, and he didn't drop a single game. That one was a best of 5. This time around, we're going to be playing a best of 7, and both these guys are coming out insanely fast at the start of this game. The FaZe teammates were likely considered to be the favorites coming into the tournament. The question was, could anybody take down Firstkiller? Now, a few different people have been given the opportunity to do so, and only Gibbs Evo, rocking the hard hat, seemed to get anywhere close. Firstkiller did eventually win in Game 5, and also a dominant Game 5 where he went out to an early lead. Never really let Evo back, which didn't really give us the mystery of wondering whether or not Firstkiller could lose. Now Ayyjayy has one more opportunity. Firstkiller hasn't lost a ones tourney in recent memory, or maybe ever. He is, as chat pointed out, lost a series at some point during tournaments, but always finishes in first, and losing here would mean he finishes tied for third along with Diaz. Firstkiller, shot on net, just barely redirected by Ayyjayy. We are going to see some really fast-paced play just at the start of this one. In contrast to Chronic and Diaz, already both these guys moving around the field at mock speeds. Ayyjayy, not really much option other than to fake that wave dash attempt. Anything else would have popped it out of the net. Ayyjayy did win the dream hack. Right, that's a good point. We'll talk about Ayyjayy and how he has taken over as one of the top ones players in Firstkiller's absence, especially before Daniel came onto the scene. Ayyjayy and Lionblaze fought back and forth for dominance. Look at this pinch from Ayyjayy, falling from the ceiling as he screams a pinch in. It's only going to be a 66 km/h shot according to the game, but that's because Firstkiller slows it down on the goal line. Firstkiller hadn't been back in ones tournaments for a long time, and Ayyjayy had done a good job of playing well in his absence. Most recently, the Dream Hack 1v1 tournament that we talked about, Resurgence winning for the EU side. Ayyjayy won that against Lionblaze, but I believe was a pretty dominant series from him. I don't think Ayyjayy and Lionblaze really went close. But it wasn't Ayyjayy who was regarded as the best ones player in North America during the majority of Firstkiller's absence. I think that title was given to Daniel. Daniel, a dominant performance, the only comparable performance to Firstkiller for an extended time where he could not lose to a North American 1v1er. But Daniel has also been back in the past couple months in a show match against Ayyjayy on Johnny Boy Stream, in which Ayyjayy was able to win. So is Ayyjayy potentially vying for the #1 spot in North America that has so long been held by somebody else? We'll see if he can get it back today. Firstkiller, a long shot and an open net given to him by Ayyjayy. This has always been part of Ayyjayy's game, and I don't think it makes sense to change now, but sometimes his aerial play can leave him exposed and handing over free nets. Firstkiller doesn't really play that type of aerial style that leaves him out in the open too often. Firstkiller up 2 now in game #1 against Ayyjayy. You hear people talking in chat about Firstkiller's matchups. They don't usually mention whether or not he'll win, just whether or not his opponent will give him a tough game. Maybe Evo has inspired chat to think differently and believe in the ability for someone to take him down, but he's up 5-2. We got tons of game time left to go, though. First wave dash onto the ceiling. He was able to grab a couple clips earlier in the tournament. But for the most part, his aerial play has resulted in exactly what happened there. A decent setup, but the resulting shot crossing the goal line at about ground level, and that is going to be a position that defenders who are waiting to see what he's going to do are going to be able to save. Ayyjayy long shots, and he gets a third. Firstkiller leaving a bit to be desired. Talked about how those aerial plays, he's usually consistent at defending, the counters on them, but there he does the same thing that Ayyjayy is known for, leaving his net open after taking to the skies. Firstkiller A low flip reset, looks for a double, and he's just done it again. Ayyjay's going to be back within one as these two gift each other goals, looking to get a clip on one another. Ayyjayy trying to fight out Firstkiller, and he ends up undercutting him. I think Ayyjayy's plan originally was just to try and box out Firstkiller and win the race to the boost, but once he realized he had him carried, he might as well just take him out of the play and tap in a quick goal. So now we are tied. 2 minutes left to go. High-scoring game, 5-5. I think we saw, chat, was it the Firstkiller Ayyjayy game that ended 11-10 in the first game in the Swiss? I'm pretty sure it was. These guys just slammed in goal after goal after goal. Not worrying about defense. It's all about having the better offense. Now Firstkiller up the side wall. Ceiling and the back wall are going to make it hard for him to find an angle to shoot. He just has to drop it to the ground. Doing his best to kill this possession. But Ayyjayy is going to be the one controlling all the boosts on the field. First, can't even get to this one. Ayyjayy side flips out of the carry and still gets that corner. He's going to go for the pinch to break up the dribble from First, who's ready for it and retreats back to his corner. So now a carry from First. Early flick. Ayyjayy really soft save. Try and make sure that he can get the secondary touch, but that little bump, that was it. All that Firstkiller needed to get himself an open net. Ayyjayy caught on the wrong side of the half-field line. Firstkiller not using what he called his ones car. This was the car he used at the start of the EVO series. The first 4 games against EVO, he played in this space station car, only switching to some kind of stock tin. I can't remember what it was for game 5, but he referred to it as his ones car, and he destroyed in it. So he's holding on to the ones car once again, only bringing it out if necessary. Ayyjayy can't resist taking this bounce. Did he get the reset? He did. He gets it from underneath the ball, and he lulls Firstkiller enough to sleep. He's able to walk it all the way to the net. First pulling off the pre-jump and waiting to see if Ayyjayy was going to get that wave dash shot. He waited too long. Firstkiller squeezing it in behind and tying up the game. Ayyjayy losing the kickoff slightly into his half, but Firstkiller deciding not to pressure him and let him pick up the boost and the first possession. Firstkiller just barely getting the midfield. Ayyjayy, a great pop for an aerial, but Firstkiller's already up. Watching from Ayyjayy's perspective, I couldn't have imagined Firstkiller coming, but he knew exactly what Ayyjayy was setting up, and he just beats him to the ball and then shoots on an open net. Great touch. You see Firstkiller pulling off the ball at the final moments to take the front of his car away and make sure he gets a wheel touch really soft to kill the ball straight down to the ground so that he can land on the side wall and get an immediate power shot. Any other touch, and he might not be able to set up the counterattack so quickly. So a very smart play. He beat Ayyjayy out so early. He had the luxury to slow himself down to prep for the counter, and now Firstkiller the bump. Ayyjayy underneath it, but he can't keep it up. So game number 1 will be another close one, but it goes in favor of Firstkiller. Game number 2. Firstkiller and Ayyjayy. It is now 5 games in a row that Firstkiller has been able to take Ayyjayy down. Ayyjayy, what a pinch. It's strong, but it's high off the backboard. And punishment for almost in ones is a goal the other way. Can Ayyjayy clean up his offense? He might need to be perfect. He wants to take Firstkiller down. Ayyjayy, air dribble, saved by a pre-jump from First. These two fighting for position in net. Ayyjayy doesn't have boost, so he does need to keep Firstkiller at bay long enough to get himself back. He did, and now he's air dribbling this high near the ceiling. He almost slotted the top shelf, but Firstkiller saves it off the crossbar in the counter. Once again, the punishment for getting close. It's getting scored on. It was a great shot, but Firstkiller had the save. Firstkiller with a kickoff win. Wall to air dribble. Firstkiller's had a dud or two the past couple times. He's gone for this, but this time it's the wave dash. Ayyjayy sends it away. Little bump on Firstkiller. The window might be open. He's not going to take the early shot. Instead, he'll play the safer option. Ship it up, threaten the immediate power shot. Firstkiller has almost no choice but to jump and try and get the save. And Ayyjayy just lets it fall into the net. Ayyjayy able to get the midfield boost, and it's only going to cost him a goal in his net. Thought he could have it all, but Firstkiller with 12 gets a good shot right off the bounce and catches him out of position. Ayyjayy comes away with this one into the back corner, but First sticking with his strategy so far, bringing the game to Ayyjayy. Both of them have played very aggressive, very quick when the other gains possession. Ayyjayy just barely saving on the goal line. Firstkiller the bump. Is the ball going to come across the net in time? Nice pop. Almost got it behind Ayyjayy. Ayyjay's trying to play patiently. Doesn't have any boost to work with in net, but he has forced Firstkiller out to the side wall, so he's able to reset. Firstkiller a reset high near the ceiling to 50. Ayyjayy keeps it out for now, and he actually might have gotten a high enough bounce to keep Firstkiller from scoring. Ayyjayy, great recovery in net. Casually comes off the top and earns himself a midfield boost. I don't think Firstkiller is going to be able to hold on to this possession long, but actually Ayyjayy not daring to challenge him at the midfield and kind of just letting Firstkiller keep it. Wave dashes from Ayyjayy, get him in a good spot that he might not have otherwise been in. So there you go. I'm telling you, Ayyjayy finds a way to make the wall dashes actually potentially give him good positions, whereas tons of other people, I feel like, end up using them to push them out of the play. Ayyjayy, both these guys looking for a single jump wave dash. Ayyjay's going to be the one to come out the better of it. He gets the corner boost and he gets a third. He's tied the game. These two will get sucked into the goal once again. Ayyjayy popping this high as the ball was headed to bounce out to midfield where Firstkiller could take a shot, but he expertly takes away that opportunity, gains possession, and his flick, while strong, is saved by First, and he pitches it with the wall and a shot. Firstkiller, it doesn't get better than that as far as counterattacks go. This is an amazing pinch right as it comes. I mean, it's not even a pinch, it's just a power shot. He didn't let it hit the wall, but it felt like it with the kind of power he got off of it. 4-3. Ayyjayy seems like he has to fight back to get himself in the game. Firstkiller has a bit of an easier time retaking the lead. Ayyjayy tapped the sidewall first, not just going to tap it to Ayyjayy, instead going to try and bait him in. Ayyjayy did not fall for it, prepared for the long shot. Now he takes to the skies. Will he go bump? No, he goes wave dash. Could not get to Firstkiller in time. I think he was trying to wave dash underneath it and bump him from the ground. Now he's going to try and demo Firstkiller, who, with low boost, pre-flipped into the corner, which makes him very easy to read. Ayyjayy, right as he saw Firstkiller start to set that up, noticed that he would be a sitting duck, so just turns and demos him off the map, tying the game once again. But can Firstkiller continue to do what he's done all game, all series long, earn his lead right back quickly? Or can Ayyjayy put himself up 5-4? Ayyjayy being tentative on the side wall, letting Firstkiller 50 with him for good reason. Firstkiller unable to get a shot from that. Now Ayyjayy drops it in front of the net. And Firstkiller forced to get a save. Nice cut. But Firstkiller then cuts underneath Ayyjayy. These guys are just bumping each other like crazy, vying for position. But Firstkiller's going to come out the victor, and this double is going to be hard to save, but he misses. Respect to Ayyjayy and his recovery. He did not try and put it in the dead center of the net. He was looking for a perfectly placed double underneath the crossbar, but eventually Firstkiller will score. Ayyjayy too strong of a touch as he was waiting for that ball to come back down to the ground. Firstkiller gets a 1-2 and booms a power shot. into the top right corner. First can let this come all the way to the ground. He knows Ayyjayy left all the way to his goal line. Not the best of setups, but a really smart play to play it secure, saving so much boost when Firstkiller just leaves the ball like this. Ayyjayy has to come up and make a save. Gets put out of position, and the bump is enough to secure the Firstkiller 2-goal lead. Ayyjayy, this is a really smart play. To not go for the midfield boost is actually pretty hard to resist here. Lots of players would just try and grab the midfield and play from there, but he recognizes an opportunity to chip over a low boost defender, potentially get an open net. He did, and now he's within one, but Firstkiller has just been controlling every game, and every lead has felt so hard to work back. And now long shot from Firstkiller. He is sniping the net from everywhere on the field. Ayyjayy can't even make the slightest mistake while on offense, because First knows how to punish every time. A 2-goal lead. Will Ayyjayy mix up the kickoff at all in the final moments? Or will he trust in a kickoff that has been doing just fine for him? Nice standard kickoff, but he can't win this race. That use of boost in the final moments could be one of the last times that Ayyjayy has a chance to score. That being said, Firstkiller kind of awkward at the midfield. It's time for Ayyjayy to come get him. Let's go look from Firstkiller's perspective. I don't think we're going to be able to see the awkward setup. Ultimately, he got to that ball late and was forced to try and make a low 50 that he couldn't do. So 12 seconds. This would be an amazing tie game if Ayyjayy were able to take it. This is a decent kickoff for him. Is he just going to try and win the race? He does, but Firstkiller wasn't up to challenge him. Now Ayyjayy with boost. And the whole field in front of him. First, a pre-jump. Shadowing close. Ayyjayy takes to the skies. Will he go air triple bump? I don't know if he's going to cross the goal line. It's not. It was a great setup, but it wasn't high enough to get it in the net without bouncing. A moment longer and Ayyjayy might have been able to send it to overtime, but instead, Firstkiller will go up 2-1. Game number 3. 5 games in a row now. Firstkiller. It was a best of 5 that he won before, which was 3-0. And now 2-0 at the start of this best of 7. Reset for Firstkiller. Gifted a goal as Ayyjayy thought he was going to use the flip that he earned, but he ended up just letting it bounce. It's a great wave dash. It puts a lot of movement on his car, and kind of is perceived as a potential shot attempt that Ayyjayy is trying to react to. It's a great doink at the midfield towards the net. Maybe a slower defender wouldn't be there for the save, but Ayyjayy does get there. First going to chase down Ayyjayy. Ayyjayy doesn't have a lot of boost. He actually wins out the race to the first corner. He'll take a trip to the other corner to start starving Ayyjayy out. You see Ayyjayy pathing over as many paths as possible, and he actually got this 50 somehow not in the net. Firstkiller was trying to expose him, but Ayyjayy, once again, another great defensive stand. We saw some really good defensive stands in the previous games from Ayyjayy, but it'll take more from defense to ultimately win the game. But for now, he's earned himself a wide open net on a nice pop. Firstkiller trying to get a read on the air dribble, but actually pulled off of it. He must have thought a fake was coming because he pre-jumped it, but he didn't use any boost. And if he had committed to the pre-jump, I actually think he would have intercepted Ayyjayy's setup. Ayyjayy with first possession on this third kickoff. He's going to take to the skies again. This time Firstkiller commits to the pre-jump. You see Ayyjayy on the way back down to the ground, very intentionally boxing out Firstkiller, because Firstkiller could have a race to the other side of the field. So Ayyjayy positioning to make sure he lands on the right side of first and makes it impossible for him to do so. That being said, Ayyjayy not able to cover the ball here. Not the easiest of angles, but this is Firstkiller that we're talking about. Firstkiller coming from the ceiling. Can Ayyjayy make the recovery? He did. Would have been crazy if that shot was in the net and Ayyjayy had made the save, but really good defense again from Ayyjayy. Is the winning formula for Ayyjayy. just playing perfect out of his own half. Being able to take down good shot after good shot from Firstkiller before eventually getting a counter. Ayyjayy taking to his back corner. Air dribble, flip reset, shot is a third. Ayyjayy in the zone right now. Firstkiller losing that first possession and trying to rush back to net. Couldn't do so in time. Jumped as if Ayyjayy wasn't going to get that touch. But Ayyjayy too good to miss there. Immediate kickoff goal. Ayyjayy looking dominant in game number 3. Still only 2 minutes in. But at this pace, if Ayyjayy can keep it up, this should be the first time he's able to take down first. Ball to air dribble, uses the flip reset over the early challenge, and all of a sudden, Ayyjayy can't miss. Firstkiller coming off the ceiling, trying to get back to this play. Ayyjayy just times the flip well. Good recognition of when the challenge is coming. Always want to use that flip right as a defender approaches. They commit to a certain path. Firstkiller wants a double flip reset. Ayyjayy says no. Ayyjayy's counter, not going to be in, but with zero boost, not much of a better option for him. Might as well just toss a shot on and use the time that you forced the defender to make a save, to grab boost, and maybe make a play like this. Ayyjayy chips it up to just outside the net. Gets the reset at the crucial time, and Firstkiller can't react. 6-1. Ayyjayy. What is happening here in game number 3? The kind of momentum that he has been unable to find for 5 straight games against Firstkiller, but all of a sudden he's found the formula, and the formula is playing perfectly. That being said, Firstkiller will demo him and get a goal that he hasn't seen in a while. Drops it to the ground and uses the pop to give himself time to demo Ayyjayy off the field. Firstkiller. One thing that has changed in the past couple kickoffs that wasn't going on during Ayyjayy's run was Firstkiller is starting to get a couple first possessions. Ayyjayy was getting first possession off every single kickoff during his streak of goals. Now Firstkiller gets a couple in a row. Nice 50. And I feel like Ayyjayy should have gotten a goal from that. He plays it a little bit slower, and instead he's got Firstkiller missing left and right, trying to break every axle on his car, and Firstkiller just says, hey man, you've earned it. He jumps up and turtles and says, you got me. I don't know what I'm going to do. Just score. Firstkiller didn't have any boost left to make a play anyways. I mean, you can see from Firstkiller's position, he was trying to pre-jump when he first jumped to make a save, but he knew he was nowhere close. So he turns over in a turtle and resigns to letting his teammate go up 7-2. First and Ayyjayy bump on each other in Ayyjayy's corner. Ayyjayy, great catch, smooth flick. Crossbar and in. Ayyjayy showing the formula. Can we just go next? Yes, yeah. Yeah, you can forfeit if you want. 8-2. Ayyjayy taking a game win. As we will head to game number 4. Firstkiller up 2-1. Is going next the right play, or is Firstkiller earning himself an Ayyjayy who gets to keep his momentum? About a minute left to go in that game. Ayyjayy up 8-2, I think it was. Now, instead of playing at the minute, maybe Ayyjayy cools off a bit. He wants to go immediately into the next game where Ayyjayy could keep his momentum. He gets an immediate kickoff goal, so he gets to continue to play with confidence. Up 1-0. Nice turn from first. Oh, he's got chat. This is it. I think this is Firstkiller's ones car. He's brought it out. He is not going to entertain the idea of saving it longer than a single loss. Firstkiller. High touch. Ayyjayy wins the race. You can see him checking to see if Firstkiller was going to try and beat him. Both of these players thought they were going to be able to get to it. Firstkiller was wrong. Ayyjayy losing the kickoff, quote unquote losing. He's got himself a possession. Just has to play it from his back half. Firstkiller, great catch and counterattack shot, but Ayyjayy covers it. Firstkiller can't find the angle on the second attempt. Ayyjayy has to leave the play. Doesn't want to try and stay and see if he can make a zero boost play against Firstkiller. Would instead retreat to his net. But the problem is he didn't actually pick up any boost. So instead of making a low boost play around Firstkiller, he's going to try and make a low boost play around his own net. And I think that's probably a bit of a worse situation. Firstkiller taps it past him. A good snaking dribble makes it hard for a low boost defender to decide where to make his defensive stand. Now wall to air dribble for Ayyjayy. He has been on fire. Is he still in fuego? Takes it off the bounce instead. Air roll shot is saved. And Ayyjayy quick recovery. It will give Firstkiller a lot of space, and that's not a great setup for First. Ayyjayy going to try and close in. Firstkiller had no choice but to try and surprise him with a hook shot. He wasn't going to get much more from that possession. Nice wave dash. Ayyjayy, it's in. He knows it. 3-1. Firstkiller on the retreat. Didn't get the midfield boost either. Has to turn and challenge with speed and gets exposed with a great pop. Ayyjayy continuing to play from the lead. He's been in the lead for the past 7 minutes of gameplay now. Ayyjayy, the back wall. Not a lot of boost, but enough to tap it over the top of Firstkiller, and that's all that matters when you have that ones player hanging close to you. As long as you get it over the back of them and make them turn around, that will prevent them getting any easy shot. First, his shot is going to get saved. Great recovery. Firstkiller didn't have enough boost to play it fast enough, and Ayyjayy knows he's not going to win that race. So he pulls off his fake challenge. Firstkiller from the ceiling. Uses his jump, push himself back down to the ground. He touched it too strong. Couldn't get back to it. Bit of a stalemate between these two right now as they move around the map. But Ayyjayy, I think, just created an opportunity. Did he just miss? No, he didn't. It's in. That would have been a big open net miss. Firstkiller couldn't get the bump. He knew he was scored on. He takes a trip to the back corner boost. But he is just keeping himself busy while he lets Ayyjayy score on the open net. Nice 50 by Ayyjayy. Man, all of a sudden, Ayyjayy looks unstoppable. Firstkiller can't get anything going, and this 50 looks really weak. Single jumping high up over the ball. Not often are you going to be able to win a 50 that kind of approach. Firstkiller dodging the 100 boost like he's allergic to it, but eventually picking it up. Firstkiller clear down the field. He doesn't have any boost to work with, but he's going to try and stay in the play and eventually get himself a goal. That is the confidence that we've seen from Firstkiller all series long. It's not going to change just because he's down 5-1 and has had a bit of a tough run. Firstkiller, I think, looking for a wave dash kickoff, but popping himself so high on that single jump. Not able to land down and get the wave dash in time. Ayyjayy looking for the immediate shot before the Firstkiller recovery. Puts it too high. Firstkiller free jump, still able to cover it. Ayyjayy was hoping he would make a mistake, outplay himself, but he did not. Firstkiller, long shot, a little bit of a ground pinch. And he's working his way back slowly. got tons of time. He hasn't been making quick work of it, but as long as he can stop Ayyjayy, continuing to extend the lead, he can fight his way back. Kickoff's not a bad way to do so as he gets another first possession. This time into Ayyjayy's half. Flick is saved. Ayyjayy feels the need to rise up high to the ball despite Firstkiller not being really around to make a challenge. Ayyjayy has to be worried about Firstkiller coming to challenge him. Sorry, not challenge him, but demo him from behind. And there, the demo's eventually going to happen. He was trying to play keep away, but as he falls to the ground, he becomes an easy target. Firstkiller knows exactly where he's going to be, and now he's within one. The storyline continues. Firstkiller has completely shut down Ayyjayy's scoring and is inching back bit by bit. Wait, Ayyjayy might have an open net here. Firstkiller gets bumped. He's trying to get Firstkiller to outplay himself. We talk about it all the time. As long as you keep throwing fakes, wait and see if that defender panics. They might just feels backflip themselves into a terrible position. You could easily slot it on the other side of the net. These guys trading off the kickoff advantage right now. Ayyjayy, big mistake on the back wall. Will essentially be a kickoff goal. Let's watch it from Ayyjayy's perspective. I think he probably is beating himself up. I think he thinks he should have had that. Ayyjayy loves this 180 onto the back wall to start his dribbles. He's going air dribble bump. Ayyjayy can go out underneath it. Firstkiller is separating himself too much from the ball for the time of impact. You have to leave the ball and go for the bump at the latest possible moment to make sure you can protect it. When you leave it as early as Firstkiller just did, leaves an opportunity for a window and a defender to sneak in and get a save. Now Ayyjayy the other way, just putting pressure immediately before Firstkiller can really reset and prepare his defense. He's able to get the first but not the second, and so 2-goal lead for Ayyjayy with 12 seconds. Unless some magic happens here for Firstkiller, we should see a tied series. Wall to air dribble, just taking too long. Even if it does go in, that'll be it. Ayyjayy is going to tie up the series 2-2. He couldn't get a game in the first 5 that he played against Firstkiller, but now he's got 2 in a row. Firstkiller and Ayyjayy, game number 5. At first, we were worried Firstkiller would run away with it like he did the last time they matched up. But Ayyjayy has brought it back, and maybe that was a sign right there. Firstkiller, the immediate shot, looked like to be unsavable. If it weren't for the fact that he misses just barely wide. Ayyjayy the bump. The second bump, Firstkiller able to fight through it. The second bump comes while he's on the back wall, so it doesn't really move him out of position. Ayyjayy, nice catch, carry, and flick. And he still scores first. Firstkiller right there trying to side flip and get his own corner boost before Ayyjayy was able to steal it. It was that flip that was the reason why Ayyjayy was able to find a goal. Nice play by First as the 100. Ayyjayy able to reset. Firstkiller has on multiple occasions looked for double and triple flip resets as he takes it through the air. Doesn't seem to think he can get away with doing just one. For whatever reason, prefers to try and set up multiple. First, this time a single flip reset. You got Ayyjayy to miss. And this is the beautiful part of the high level ones meta. Everybody's so good that you can score like this. You won't be scoring like that in lower ranks or in my rank, because I do not trust you to hit the flip reset. I am just challenging you, assuming you're going to miss. Ayyjayy, he knows better. Ayyjayy has a reset. Firstkiller is going to continue to wait. Ayyjayy is going to continue to wait as well. Both these guys dancing around the ball as it bounces slowly towards the back wall. Neither of them end up getting a touch. First, going to carry this right at the apex of its bounce. Nice reset, but Ayyjayy has the read and gets the save. First gets it in before Ayyjayy can recover. 2-1. Firstkiller didn't have a lot of boost to work with, but he's just able to pick up a couple pads. Ayyjayy deciding he doesn't have time to go out to midfield to get boost after all, and turning right back to the play. Seems to be the right move, and he's got himself a possession. Him and First both in the air on the dribble straight down the field. Firstkiller not backing down as Ayyjayy tries to play a possession into his back corner. He has a clear boost advantage. Firstkiller just stays on top of the ball, has a double and a third, bumping Ayyjayy just to make sure. Let's wait to the net. I see how much did Ayyjayy get bumped here? Just barely. Firstkiller has gone back to his space station car. He dabbled in the ones car for a moment, but has decided that the space station is the one to hold it down for it. Firstkiller is going to be stuck, or sorry, Ayyjayy is going to be stuck in a tough spot because of a good shot from Firstkiller. Oh wow, Ayyjayy, great save. It's not over for him. He's going to need multiple good saves to keep Firstkiller from capitalizing on this extreme boost advantage. But actually, Firstkiller just left the corner open. He wasn't able to steal that one, and Ayyjayy got the 100 and has the clear. So credit to Ayyjayy. Not many people able to make it out of that stranglehold from First on the back line. Ayyjayy's found himself there once again. This time he has boost, potentially get the clear. A great 50, a good pop. And will it result in a goal the other way? No. Firstkiller able to intercept the shot just past midfield. First flick over the top of Ayyjayy. He's able to get a touch, but only to accelerate it into the net even faster. Nice flick. Ayyjayy now down 4-1. His momentum might be officially stopped at this point. Able to get 2 games in a row. Pretty confident fashion, but now he's found himself down. He's got 3 goals to make up in 2 minutes. Demo from First. Make it 4 goals to make up in 1 minute 45. This kickoff killed at the midfield. Ayyjayy able to steal it away. I'm sure Firstkiller thought he was going to come away with possession, but a couple quick flips from Ayyjayy and never giving up on the fact that he could come out in the lead from this play. And he's got himself boosted a wall to air dribble, and he knows he's got to play it fast because Firstkiller, who had just raced him to the midfield, going to be at 0 boost. And anytime you can convince someone to try and beat you in the race to the midfield and get them to lose, you usually have an opportunity for a quick shot. And a mechanical player like Ayyjayy is going to know how to get the fastest one. Now Ayyjayy just passed the ball to First, trying to cut the dribble and surprise him. Instead, ended up tapping it directly towards him. Ayyjayy bumping Firstkiller, but able to stay underneath him even though he doesn't grab the boost. Gets to delay him on the respawn. Can Ayyjayy get the save? Looks like he's respawning close. 1 flip reset, 2 flip resets. Can First get any more? He tries to double it with the back wall. He will eventually tap it in. A 7th for First. The last couple games have been all Ayyjayy, but it is back in favor of the Firstkiller. Interesting kickoff from First. Doesn't get him in trouble, but it seems like if he did that consistently, Ayyjayy would be able to tap it over the top of him. Nice air roll into the flick, but the save keeps Ayyjayy only down 5 with 45 seconds left to go. I say only, but it's probably too much to overcome. Definitely after that power shot. I mean, that possession essentially had to end in a goal for Ayyjayy. So I think it will be a 3-2 lead for Firstkiller in this best of 7. He will give himself 2 opportunities to finish it off and recreate Salt Mine 1's grand final with a Firstkiller versus Chronic rematch. Ayyjayy is going to need to find the magic he found in the 2 games before this one to get 2 in a row and take First down in Game 7. An exciting series and some feathering boost from Firstkiller to end this game. The two FaZe members continue to clash. Game number 6. Is chat brooding to continue to see the domination that is Firstkiller in the North American region? Or they want to see an upset, a new king on the throne. Ayyjayy wants to be the one. He's going to need to win 2 games in a row to do it. Ayyjayy backflip in this. Firstkiller willing to accept it getting taken back into his half. Ayyjayy trying to play fast and great recovery to not leave an open net. Ayyjayy, he couldn't slow down off that play. Double jumped quickly to show that if Firstkiller wanted to go in the air, that he would win the race, but then he realized Firstkiller was not coming to challenge him, so he wanted to pull off the ball. At that point, he was moving too fast, so his touch was too strong. Ended up handing over possession. First, looking for a double. Nice coverage from Ayyjayy. He has had some really good defensive stands on a ton of great Firstkiller attacks. That's not going to end now. As he backs off to midfield, it is going to be Firstkiller on offense again. Ayyjayy able to cut the first touch, but Firstkiller gets back to it before Ayyjayy can get a second. And game number 6 will start with Firstkiller in the lead. Ayyjayy, is he going to try and take a quick kickoff? No, he will catch it. Go for a continuation shot instead. Interesting decision to go immediately. I would think he would either go immediately or play it slow, but he did something in between where he took one single touch. Took a pretty rudimentary shot on net that Firstkiller is going to be able to save. It seems like your options are either surprise the defender before they can recover, or play it slower and hope to fake them and get them to miss. First air dribble bump. Wow, he snipes Ayyjayy. Ayyjayy respawning from the left side of the field. There is only one path he can take. He does his best. He has no choice. But Firstkiller intercepts him. Firstkiller, 50 at the midfield, bumps Ayyjayy, but can't get back to the shot. Ayyjayy needs to find some offense before too long. On a high bounce, instant double jump to get back to it. He actually got it over the top of Firstkiller, and I think he was trying to get a little low bump or a low box out as Firstkiller tried to recover. Wasn't able to get any sort of touch on him, so Firstkiller was able to get the clear. What a pinch. But Ayyjayy is ready for it. First, pinching that up the side wall, forcing Ayyjayy to launch it into the corner, but demo, and that's actually a decent respawn. I guess any respawn would have worked because the other ones would have been even closer. See, this is what I'm talking about with the wall dash, not always putting players in a good spot. That time, I think Firstkiller just wall dashed his way outside of being able to make a play. He went too far. Flick from Ayyjayy. Firstkiller able to make the save. Ayyjayy, oh my goodness. Got more than enough power on the first flick. And the second one is off the crossbar as well. Nice save, though, to keep himself only down 2. First, going to go high, look for a double to keep it away from Ayyjayy. He did, but he also kept it away from the net. Ayyjayy, once again, in low boost. Normally, a situation where we assume Firstkiller will score, but Ayyjayy's handled it so well. Nice delay on that second flip, or I guess the only flip he has, to make sure that he pushes it out past Firstkiller. If he uses that flip early, ball doesn't make it as far. Firstkiller able to keep it on offense. But still, the corralling of the ball is going to stay in the orange half. Ayyjayy finally able to reset on 100 boost. So will this be the moment in which he can finally break it open? Let's pop this high, and he should be able to win this race as long as he has good vision of where Firstkiller is. And Firstkiller gets baited into not touching the ball. Ayyjayy will shoot down the field and get his first goal finally on a great defensive stand. Somebody needed to make a touch as that ball bounced, and nobody wanted to. And Firstkiller, realizing too late that the ball was too high for him to be able to make a play. First kickoff shot sent away. Now Ayyjayy has a shot with low boost. He has no choice. Will likely result in a Firstkiller possession. Plays a little bit poorly. Ayyjayy able to gain control. 30 seconds. Ayyjayy needs this goal if he wants to force overtime and potentially take this to Game 7. Otherwise, we will see the Salt Mine 1 rematch of the grand final. Ayyjayy, takeaway. Firstkiller redirects it off the crossbar. I don't think Firstkiller has much boost though. That being said, he has handled defensive stands well. Can he do it as well as Ayyjayy has? Ayyjayy's looked really, really good. This 50 could be the end of the game. Firstkiller, wave dash out of his net, takes it away. Ayyjayy, I don't think he's going to be able to chip it up. He has to get it in the air. Doesn't have any boost though. No way Firstkiller lets Ayyjayy get away with this one. This has got to hit the ground. It will. Firstkiller will win 4-2. GG's. But the inevitable seems to happen as Firstkiller wins in 6 games. GG's. Is Chronic the chosen one, chat? Game number 6 is chat brooding to continue to see the domination that is Firstkiller in the North American region, or they want to see an upset, a new king on the throne. Ayyjayy wants to be the one. He's going to need to win 2 games in a row to do it. Ayyjayy backflip in this. Firstkiller willing to accept it getting taken back into his half. Ayyjayy trying to play fast and great recovery to not leave an open net. Ayyjayy, he couldn't slow down off that play. Double jumped quickly to show that if Firstkiller wanted to go in the air, that he would win the race, but then he realized Firstkiller was not coming to challenge him, so he wanted to pull off the ball. At that point he was moving too fast, so his touch was too strong. Ended up handing over possession. First, looking for a double. Nice coverage from Ayyjayy. He has had some really good defensive stands on a ton of great Firstkiller attacks. That's not going to end now. As he backs off to midfield, it is going to be Firstkiller on offense again. Ayyjayy able to cut the first touch, but Firstkiller gets back to it before Ayyjayy can get a second. And game number 6 will start with Firstkiller in the lead. Ayyjayy, is he going to try and take a quick kickoff? No, he will catch it. Go for a continuation shot instead. Interesting decision to go immediately. I would think he would either go immediately or play it slow, but he did something in between where he took one single touch. Took a pretty rudimentary shot on net that Firstkiller is going to be able to save. It seems like your options are either surprise the defender before they can recover, or play it slower and hope to fake them and get them to miss. First air dribble bump. Wow, he snipes Ayyjayy. Ayyjayy respawning from the left side of the field. There is only one path he can take. He does his best. He has no choice. But Firstkiller intercepts him. Firstkiller, 50 at the midfield, bumps Ayyjayy, but can't get back to the shot. Ayyjayy needs to find some offense before too long. On a high bounce, instant double jump to get back to it. He actually got it over the top of Firstkiller, and I think he was trying to get a little low bump or a low box out as Firstkiller tried to recover. Wasn't able to get any sort of touch on him, so Firstkiller was able to get the clear. What a pinch. But AJ is ready for it. First, pitching that up the side wall, forcing AJ to launch it into the corner, but demo, and that's actually a decent respawn. I guess any respawn would have worked because the other ones would have been even closer. See, this is what I'm talking about with the wall dash, not always putting players in a good spot. That time, I think Firstkiller just wall dashed his way outside of being able to make a play. He went too far. Flick from AJ. Firstkiller able to make the save. AJ, oh my goodness. Got more than enough power on the first flick. And the second one is off the crossbar as well. Nice save, though, to keep himself only down 2. First, going to go high, look for a double to keep it away from AJ. He did, but he also kept it away from the net. AJ, once again, low boost. Normally, a situation where we assume Firstkiller will score, but AJ's handled it so well. Nice delay on that second flip, or I guess the only flip he has, to make sure that he pushes it out past Firstkiller. If he uses that flip early, ball doesn't make it as far. Firstkiller able to keep it on offense. But still, the corralling of the ball is going to stay in the orange half. AJ finally able to reset on a 100 boost. So will this be the moment in which he can finally break it open? Let's pop this high, and he should be able to win this race as long as he has good vision of where Firstkiller is. And Firstkiller gets baited into not touching the ball. AJ will shoot down the field and get his first goal finally on a great defensive stand. Somebody needed to make a touch as that ball bounced, and nobody wanted to. And Firstkiller, realizing too late that the ball was too high for him to be able to make a play. First kickoff shot sent away. Now AJ has a shot with low boost. He has no choice. Will likely result in a Firstkiller possession. Plays a little bit poorly. AJ able to gain control. 30 seconds. AJ needs this goal if he wants to force overtime and potentially take this to Game 7. Otherwise, we will see the Salt Mine 1 rematch of the grand final. AJ, takeaway. Firstkiller redirects it off the crossbar. I don't think Firstkiller has much boost, though. That being said, he has handled defensive stands well. Can he do it as well as AJ has? AJ's looked really, really good. This 50 could be the end of the game. Firstkiller, wave dash out of his net, takes it away. AJ, I don't think he's going to be able to chip it up. He has to get it in the air. Doesn't have any boost, though. No way Firstkiller lets AJ get away with this one. This has got to hit the ground. It will. Firstkiller will win 4-2. GG's. But the inevitable seems to happen as Firstkiller wins in 6 games.